Hello, folks. Welcome to the Start U of G course selection session for the Bachelor of Indigenous Environmental Science and Practice. We're going to wait for just a minute to see if anybody else is going to join us in the viewing space. And then if not, we're going to get started at 12:01. Alrighty, that's 12:01. Hopefully everybody who's going to join us has joined us. Welcome to the Start U of G session, like I said, on course selection. My name is Jack Fisher, and I'm part of the START team. We're helping you prepare this summer for your start in fall 2026. This session is for students starting in the Bachelor of Indigenous Environmental Science and Practice. So if that's you, you're in the right place. And if it's not you, any other session, if you're looking at the recordings, will be on the start page. So go look for your program if this is the wrong one. Awesome. So on today, before we begin, we're going to show you how to select courses at U of G from the Carrie from Academic Advising is here to help you. We're going to talk through common terms in course selection, talk about the registration guide for new students, give you an overview of how to use WebAdvisor, talk about course selection for transfer students, and some reminders for international students. At the end, we'll have some time for FAQs, and we'll go through some frequently asked questions regarding your program that hopefully answer the questions you might have going into it. Before we fully begin today's session, it is with great respect that we acknowledge that the University of Guelph, where we work and learn, resides on the traditional lands of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe, and the treaty lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit. We recognize that today, this gathering place is home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples, and acknowledging them reminds us that our relationship to this land, where we all learn and grow, is a shared experience. This land is not for any one group of people to use. It's one that we collectively have to maintain and steward over the course of history, because we only have one planet. All right. So again, my name is Jack Fisher. I use he, him pronouns. I'm the coordinator of orientation programs here at the University of Guelph. I'm part of the student experience department and work with the START team. I'm going to help you through your transition into your first year here at University of Guelph. So when you come here for orientation week, I will have helped put together a whole bunch of different stuff. Also joining me today in the background doing some moderation is my coworker, Kimia, who I will let introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Kimia. I use she, they pronouns, and I'm part of the START team, and I will be also helping you in your transition and also helping with the orientation team.
Yeah, so if there's any FAQs or any questions in the chat today, Kimia will be looking at those and sharing some information into the chat for you to look at. All right, the other person with us today is Carrie. Carrie, you want to introduce yourself?
Thanks,
and I'll
Jack.
hand the microphone over to you for the foreseeable future. So thank you.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, thanks, Jack. Appreciate it. Appreciate the whole orientation START team putting together these videos just so that students have information to do course selection, hopefully in a painless way. So my name's Carrie Devitt. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the academic advisor for the Bachelor of Indigenous Environmental Science and Practice. So I work with students in other degree programs and diplomas as well, but I'm the only academic advisor for this very special BISP program. My office is in Johnston Hall. Just to share a little bit about myself, I'm a University of Guelph alumni. I'm a U of G parent, so I sort of wear the parenting hat at the same time as my advising hat. I'm an outdoors person. I'm a farmer, fun fact about me, and I'm a cat mom. You can see on the screen there, that's my cat Wilfred. I actually have 2 black cats, so I just absolutely love animals. I love being outside. So those are some of the things that I bring to this program. My role as an academic advisor is about empowering students to make informed decisions through to graduation. So I will be at your academic orientation for your degree program in the very first week of school during O week. And I'm also the person that will do your review your grad application at the very end. So I'm there throughout the entirety of the process. You can, if you want to send me an email, you can contact me at bisp@uofguelph.ca. You can just address, hi, Carrie. I'm very informal that way with with answering student emails. So please, you can use my first name, no problem there, but please use your @uoguelph.ca email address. So you should have that by now. And the expectation at the university is that you use that new email address for every university communication. A couple of things that helps us with identifying who you are. So it's a bit of a confirmation of identity there, but then also it makes sure that your email doesn't get lost in a junk or a spam filter, which can happen for emails that come in from non@uoguelph.ca email addresses. So to be on the safe side, please get used to using your brand new email address. A little bit more about academic advising at University of Guelph and what that means. So as an academic advisor, again, I'm at orientation and I'll be doing your reviewing your grad application when the time comes as well. But I'm there all the way along. So if referrals are necessary, if you have questions about the policies at the University of Guelph, of course, if you have questions about your degree program progression, what your choices are, how to plan, whether you want to plan a minor, go on exchange, take courses elsewhere. All of those things are under the purview of what I help students with. So if you're planning a meeting with me and you want to reach out to me, you can email me at bisp@uoguelph.ca, and I can share booking instructions with you. We can meet on Teams, or we can meet in person when you're here on campus. I'm excited to meet everyone. Part of the faculty or part of the advising team is the faculty advisors. So for every program and major at the University of Guelph, there's a faculty advisor. BISP does not have majors. It's a degree program standalone with no majors. It does have faculty advisors. So it actually has two co-faculty advisors. So Dr. Susan Chiblow is primarily the faculty advisor. She is an Indigenous faculty that teaches in the program. And Dr. Neil Rooney is the co-faculty advisor for this program. So you can reach out to either one of them with questions. A lot of students will reach out to me first to kind of see if I have answers. I have a heck of a lot of answers, but if you need to contact Dr. Chiblow or Dr. Rooney, I will let you know that. They have community connections. They can share career advice. They are plugged into the research scene. They both have active research programs, and they both are instructors here at the University of Guelph. Course selection. So getting right into it here, I just want to kind of let you know a little bit about how course selection at the University of Guelph works. So we use a platform called WebAdvisor for multiple things at the university, one of which is course selection. So once you get access to WebAdvisor, you can have a look around. You can plan your courses now. So at this point, courses are visible. The timetables for courses are visible on WebAdvisor. So you can start playing around, start planning your courses for fall and winter semester for this coming year. So we do fall and winter course selection together. So my advice is to plan now and then get ready to register for your courses once your course selection window opens. For BISP students, the first day that you can actually register for courses is going to be Friday, July 10th, starting at 8 a.m. in the morning. I'll explain a little bit about windows like on the next slide, but basically once your window opens, it will remain open for a period of time. But that's the absolute earliest you'll be able to get onto WebAdvisor and register, but you can plan now. So it's kind of like an Amazon cart where you're going to put stuff in your cart. So you're going to plan now, and then you'll have to come back and pay or whatever. So you don't actually pay, but that's when you can register. So it's kind of a two-step process. You put everything in your cart and then you check out and register. Payment for the semester is going to be due later on. So for September, payments due September 18th. You will have to have paid your tuition deposit. So we're going to, again, come back to a bit of a dates and deadlines slide, but the important piece is to pay the deposit before your registration window opens. When you're planning for your courses on WebAdvisor, I always advise students to have second or third options available for each course section that you're planning. So in case when you go to actually register, the section that you're hoping for has filled, I'm hoping that you can have a second or third backup plan in mind to be a little bit quicker at getting your second or third choice. The longer you leave course selection, the fewer sections are going to be available. So if you aren't able to get on and register on July 10th and you wait, it's just your options are going to be far more limited. In this program, you register for 4 courses for fall and 5 courses for winter. If you don't get everything the first time you're on and your window opens, it's not too late. You still have until September to get your fall courses settled and until January to get your winter courses settled. But the sooner you act on those things, the better. Be patient. You can come back. You can keep checking. If you happen to need to register in a second or third sort of tier option for a course, you can check back and see if there's availability in a different section, and you can change sections later on. So that is a possibility too. Sometimes you just have to be patient. Some common terms in course selection, just so I understand the basic terms. So course selection windows, as I said, once your course selection window opens, and for you it's July 10th, if you're coming in with 0 credits, July 10th at 8 a.m. Once your window opens, it will remain open until the last day to add, change sections for a given semester. So for fall semester, that date is September 18th. For winter semester, that date is January 15th. So that's the absolute last day when your window closes, but it will open on July 10th at 8 a.m. Credits. What are credits? University of Guelph, most courses are worth 0.5 credits each. An undergraduate degree like BISP is an honors 4-year degree, 20 academic credits required to graduate. And so we're always talking about credits. Again, most courses are worth 0.5 credits. There is an exception in first semester for BISP. You do have a course that's double weighted, so it's weighted heavier at 1.0 credits, which is why you take 4 required courses in first semester instead of 5 like some other programs, because one of those 4 courses is double weighted at 1.0 credits. Full-time, part-time, the definition of full-time studies has changed at the University of Guelph. So right now, full-time studies is 1.5 credits and above. Anything less than 1.5 credits puts you in a part-time student status. So it's important to recognize that. The way the schedule of studies is laid out for BISP is each of 8 semesters, you'll register in 2.5 credits. Times 8 is where you get the 20 academic credits required to graduate. So that's how it's laid out. That's the ideal kind of set out plan for the program. Everyone's on their own journey and their own adventure. So if full-time 2.5 credits is not a good fit for your particular situation, I encourage you to meet with me to talk about planning, but you are still technically considered a full-time student if you're registered in 1.5 credits. Electives. This is the last point on this slide, but just to kind of explain what electives are. In your degree program for BISP, there are required courses that you absolutely need to graduate. There are restricted electives. So there's a few sections of restricted electives from which you need a certain amount of credits. And then the remainder in this degree is 2.0 credits of free electives. I always use jazz hands for free electives because it can be whatever subject area, whatever level. You'll see when you're looking at the registration guide, which I'll talk about a bit more in a few minutes, you'll see that in winter semester of first year, you have room for 1 0.5 credit free elective. Can be whatever you want. So you can move into the restricted elective section, find something there, or you can just look at other courses offered at the university. If you are totally unsure of what to register for, you can always email me, Carrie at biesp@uofguelph.ca, and just let me know that you're struggling to make a decision about electives. And of course, I can offer some suggestions, but free electives can be whatever in the heck you want Okay, some more common terms. So the undergraduate calendar, if you hear that term and you're thinking, what is the undergraduate calendar? Way back when, they used to actually publish a book that was the undergraduate calendar, and they came out with a new one every year. That undergraduate calendar has all of the degrees and majors and minors offered by the University of Guelph. It also has all the policies by which students have to abide while completing their degree. It has things like the schedule of dates, so a published schedule of what's happening when throughout the semester. So if you're planning a trip or a job or anything and you want to know when is the last day of exams of winter semester, that is published. So you can find those kinds of things within the undergraduate calendar. WebAdvisor, I already talked about WebAdvisor a little bit, that basically it's the platform by which you can register for plan and register for courses, but it's also where you're going to find your tuition bill, details about like applying for graduation. So that stuff's all on WebAdvisor as well. So WebAdvisor is a super handy thing. And when you log in, it's custom to you. So it keeps track of all the credits that you've completed so far, and it will actually show you what you still need left to complete your degree. Okay, I talked about the registration guide a little bit already. Here's the QR code. So if you have not navigated to the registration guide yet, get out your phone. You can use the QR code to navigate to it. Basically, the registration guide, the university has tried to summarize all of the information that you might need to get started, including the program information for your BIESP degree program. So when you're in the registration guide, there are 3 bars on the right-hand side, sort of near the top of the screen. Program information. If you click that bar, it will actually list all of the degree programs at the University of Guelph. And so you would look for Bachelor of Indigenous Environmental Science and Practice. That's you. And when you open that page, it has information written by me about what you need to do to get ready and register for first-year courses. My challenge to you, if you're up for the challenge, is within the program information section for your degree. Try to find the link to your schedule of studies and navigate to it so you can actually see those 8 semesters, 2.5 credits in each that I was talking about earlier. Okay, so when you navigate to the BISP details, the program information details, this is what you're going to see. So there are 4 required courses in fall semester of first year. The first is ENBS 1040, the Natural History of the Great Lakes Region. This is that double weighted course. It's tailored specifically to your degree program. And so it's going to be a fairly small cohort in this class. So it's just going to be students from your program in it. Second course you want to register for is IES 1010. This is the Intro to Indigenous Environmental Science and Practice course. Again, it's just for students in your program. So you're going to really get to know your classmates in these 2 smallish classes. INDG 1100 is required for students in this program unless you are a native speaker of an Indigenous language. If you are, please connect with me. Send me an email at biesp@uofguelph.ca and let me know a little bit about your background and which Indigenous language you're comfortable with. And then we can talk about substituting that course with a free elective. So that is an option for students who are speakers of an Indigenous language. All other students are required to take the INDG 1100. And even if you are a speaker of a language and you want to take the INDG 1100 anyway, you can. You are allowed to do that. Math 1080. Okay, so this is the 4th course in fall semester that you're going to register for. It's the Elements of Calculus course. The prerequisite is the 4U Advanced Functions. So I often get the question, oh, I don't have 4U Calculus from high school. Am I going to be okay in this course? The course is designed for students with no 4U Calculus, but you do need the 4U Advanced Functions. Semester 2, so in winter semester for this year, you will register for 5 courses, ideally, to get the 2.5 credits. So 4 of those 5 courses are required. The first one being Accounting 1220, Intro Financial Accounting. the Intro to Biodiversity course, Biology 1070, Chem 1040, and then IES 1020. So the Indigenous Knowledge for Environmental Science and Practice is a course that is specifically for the BISP students. So again, a smaller course in there amongst the others. And then you have room for, you can choose an elective or a restricted elective. It's totally up to you. I can share elective ideas if you send me an email, but the world's your oyster. You can choose whatever course you want in that slot in winter semester. So yeah, please email me if you need ideas. Otherwise, have a look at the restricted elective section of your degree once you navigate to the schedule of studies. And other than that, you can check out WebAdvisor and just see what you can find for courses with availability for winter. WebAdvisor takes some getting used to. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is somewhat complicated to get started using WebAdvisor. So a couple of really important things. When you're planning out your courses, you will be able to see there's a sort of a calendar grid of your schedule. So you'll actually be able to play around with, okay, what time of day, what's this going to look like, to make sure that you're not putting yourself into a timetable conflict. WebAdvisor will let you register in a conflict, but you don't want to do that. So you want to make sure you can really get a good visual representation of when your courses are going to be, so that you don't pick a section that's conflicting with a section of another course. There are some big courses in your schedule of studies, like the Chem 1040 in winter semester. There are a lot of sections for this course. So there are different lecture times, and then within those different lecture times, there are different lab times. So there's a lot of time slots for this course. When you're looking to plan some of these bigger courses, you're going to use the advancing arrows to see all the sections available. And my suggestion, my hot tip, is to not plan for something that's earlier in one of the earlier screens. Dig deep if you can, right? To find something that maybe is not going to fill as quickly. Feels like the first sort of few sections in those bigger courses fill immediately, because students just kind of like plan the first thing they see and then they move on. So if you want to be a bit wise about it, dig in the advancing arrow to find a section that potentially isn't going to fill as quickly. When you're doing your planning, you're going to plan for the courses with less flexibility first. So in first semester, something like the ENVS 1040 course, like I said, that's a course that's just for students in BISP. So it's only going to have one time. Plan for that one first, and then build your other course sections around that one, the other courses that have more timetable options. Yeah, and then the WebAdvisor tool, that's okay, we don't have to go back to that slide, but just showing like on WebAdvisor, there is a bar that you'll be able to see on your My Progress, and that'll show you eventually how many credits you have completed, and then it'll show what you still have planned, just so you can kind of gauge how far along you are and what you still need to complete. Thanks. Okay, in the registration guide, there's a section that says WebAdvisor, learning to use WebAdvisor. So there are some tutorial videos that you can watch. We're not going to play them today because they're long, they're like 7 minutes. So instead of playing them, I just want to tell you they exist. So if you're watching this video after today, you can use the links in the video or to get to the videos to learn about WebAdvisor and how to use it most efficiently. If you're navigating from the registration guide, again, there are links to those tutorial videos there. So you're going to learn how to plan and register for your courses. So again, those are 2 different steps. So you can learn about doing both of those. Okay, course selection for transfer students. So if you're a transfer student coming in with transfer credits into BISP, I recommend meeting with me, as we can look together at what transfer credits you were granted and making a decision about how to plan for completion of the degree. If you are coming in with transfer credits, that's going to impact when your window opens for course selection. So I was saying, July the 10th at 8 a.m. That's for people coming in with 0 credits. If you have a transfer credit or more than one transfer credit, you will be choosing, your window will be open sooner than that, earlier than that. So you really want to navigate to the course selection windows. If you have any questions about when is my window supposed to be opening, and you can't find it by searching course selection windows, send me an email. I'll help you navigate to it. No problem at all. Checking your program requirements. Again, I like the registration guide because it does have a link to your schedule of studies. So really having a good look at your BISP program requirements to make sure that everything you need is included in your planning. There is part of the a guide to course selection for transfer students in the Start U of G website. So they kind of have general information about starting at Guelph as a transfer student. But if you want to get into the weeds and into the specifics, please send me an email, introduce yourself. We can meet if you'd like, or I can answer questions over email so that you understand where you're at and where you're going. Okay, transfer credits for high school courses. So sometimes we get students coming in from another institution with transfer credits, but sometimes we have students from high school coming in with IB transfer credits or AP transfer credits, etc. So if you have transfer credits from high school, you will be conversing with admissions about what those are and trying to understand what you're being granted for your transfer credits. Once your transfer credits are visible in the system, we can talk about it and I can see what you've been granted. But during the time that admissions is still assigning those transfer credits, that conversation is with the admissions person that you've been in contact with. If you're granted, again, and say, for example, an AP credit from high school, then again, if you've been granted that credit, and my progress on WebAdvisor reflects that you're coming in with, say, for example, a 0.5 credit completed, that puts you in an earlier course selection window bracket. So that's really important because you'll be able to register before other incoming students. So really pay attention if you are granted transfer credits. If you have questions, if you know you have transfer credits and you have questions about how you can use them toward the BISP degree, absolutely send me an email. I'll be happy to meet with you, happy to explain how they can be used. Or selection for international students. So this slide is here to alert international students that there are supports at the University of Guelph for anyone coming to us as an international student. We have the GPS advising team. They are at gpsadvisor@uoguelph.ca, and they're there to help students navigate sort of that getting to campus, everything before the first day of classes to help with that transition. Once you're here, we have international student advisors to help you with questions about your immigration status, your post-graduation work permit eligibility. Matthew and Ernest are our international student advisors, and I can get you connected with them. So if you're not sure how to find those folks and have really specific questions about being an international student, I will share the contact information with you. You can email me again at bisp@uoguelph.ca. If you have questions, if you're an international student and you have questions about the degree program, your progression through the degree program, co-op questions, for example, absolutely you can ask me. So I'm the degree program specific person, but we do have advising for international students that are more talking about the immigration requirements, etc. Important dates and deadlines. So we talked about this already. There is a registration deposit that was due on June 15th. It's not too late to pay it. If you have not paid it already, please do so ASAP. So for undergraduate and associate diploma students attempting to register for your domestic student, it's $500, but that date is June 15th. It's passed, but you can still pay it. You will not be able to access registration for courses until your payment is received and processed, which can take a couple of days. So don't delay in getting your deposit paid. That's really, really important for you to move forward with registration. July 10th is the date for students coming in with 0 credits, students coming into the VISP degree program, and that window will open at 8 a.m. on July 10th is the very earliest you'll be able to actually register for courses. Your bill for fall tuition will be up on WebAdvisor, be visible on WebAdvisor in late July. Ooh, I'm going to come back to the registration deposit because as a mom, I mentioned earlier that I'm a University of Guelph parent. In helping my kids kind of look at what they have due, the registration deposit does not show as an amount owing on your WebAdvisor financial page. So it doesn't show, like there's no glaring, like flashing, you owe $500. It doesn't say that, but you do need to pay it. So you need to have that payment of $500 for domestic students does need to be processed before you can access registration. So you'll know if it's processed because you'll be able to see it as minus $500. So a credit to your account of $500 needs to appear before you'll be able to access registration. And then that deposit will come off of the total amount due for your fall semester, right? So that semester bill posted on WebAdvisor in late July, that takes into account the deposit that you'll have already paid. September 10th is the first day of classes. I sort of referred to a schedule of dates that's published in the undergraduate calendar. Feels late, September 10th, but it's the Thursday of orientation week. So when after Labor Day weekend, that's the week that you're going to be getting started. We're going to have lots of fun orientation activities during that first week. And then the first day of classes in fall is always a Thursday. So that September 10th is a Thursday. And that's the first day of classes for fall. So you'll have a short week. So Thursday and Friday of that first week, and then starting again on the Monday the week following. September 18th is when the fall semester payment is due, and that's coincidentally the same day as the last day to add courses or make changes to your sections for your fall semester courses. So September 18th is an important date to keep in mind. All right, we're at the question period. So if you do have questions that you'd like to pose now, you can put them in the Q&A, which you'll have access to if you're watching this live. And if no questions come in, we'll just kind of keep rolling ahead with the frequently asked questions. So yeah, let's keep moving on these slides. So how many credits should I take a semester? Some of these are somewhat standard questions, and the answer is different for every single degree program, right? So the credits for BISP in first semester of first year in the program, you're going to take 2.5 credits, but that's only 4 courses because one of the courses is double weighted. In winter semester, you're going to take 2.5 credits, but that's 5 courses with the elective that you're going to pick on top of the 4 required courses. So the schedule of studies, again, is laid out at 8 semesters at 2.5 credits each. If that's not the journey that you're hoping to achieve, you can spread it out over more time. We can talk about the possibility of taking some courses in summer. We don't have as many summer offerings as some students would like. So if you're planning to deviate from the schedule of studies as it's laid out, I strongly recommend that you meet with me so we can look at some of that planning together. And I can, let you know what I know, which might help your planning and moving along in the program. How do I know what electives to take? Okay, so I explained this already too, but I'm going to repeat it. So in the schedule of studies, the way it's laid out, there's required courses. Those are the courses that are listed under the semester headings, semester 1, semester 2. So there are courses that are listed. Those are required courses. And then for this degree program, there are restricted electives. So I'm indicating like below. So below that schedule of 8 semesters, there's going to be lists of restricted electives that you need to take. So many from this list, so many from this list. And then beyond that, beyond the required courses and restricted electives, there's room for 2.0 credits of jazz hands free electives. So courses outside of what you need to take for the degree in the restricted electives. And that brings you to 20 academic credits, which is the minimum you need to graduate from this degree. How do I know what electives I can take? The easiest way is to just have a look on WebAdvisor. The more savvy way to actually dig in and see all the subject areas taught at Guelph is to go into the undergraduate calendar. There's a section of the undergraduate calendar called course descriptions. When you open that section, it'll show all the subject areas taught at Guelph. And then from there, you can dig in and say, what all sociology courses are there? And then you can see from there everything that's offered at Guelph. So in the decision about what electives you want to take, again, there's more than one way to look at it. You can just have a look at every course offered at Guelph and see if there's anything that interests you. From there, once you plan an elective, I always recommend that you look at the restrictions. So every time a course selection period is imminent, the restrictions page will be updated. Certain courses, like your IES courses, for example, are restricted to students in specific programs or specific majors that absolutely need those courses. And so those restrictions are there to sort of protect the spots in those courses for those that absolutely need them. So if you are planning or like trying to register for an elective and you get a warning about a restriction, that's what that means. It doesn't mean you'll never ever be able to take that course necessarily. It just means that it's restricted. Some restrictions are permanent, like your IES courses, and some are temporary to give a chance to the students that need those courses to register for them first. Hopefully I explained that well. Yeah, what to do if a required course says it's full. So as you're registering for your courses, as you're planning, if you see a section that's full of a required course, look for a different section. So like I was saying about that Chem 1040 course in winter semester, there are so many different sections for that required course that you got to just advance arrows, like dig in to look for a section that has space. If you absolutely cannot find space in a required course in any sections, that work out to like a working schedule, working timetable, email me immediately so that I can try to help you navigate and see what your options are. So yeah, if you're trying to get into a required course, it says it's full, you're not sure what to do, don't just say like, oh, I'm just not going to take that course then. Like, if it's required, you need it. And I want to do absolutely everything I can to help you get into it. So the only way to know, for me to know if you're struggling to get into something is if you email me. So email me at biesp@uoguelph.ca and let me know where the problem is, right? So don't just email me and say, oh, I'm trying to register in a required course as well. Let me know what course it is. Let me know what courses you've already registered for and what course where you found the issue, right? So I can try to help you navigate from there. If you've registered in your other courses and then one course you can't find a section that has space in it that works with the rest of your courses, sometimes you have to look at those other courses and say, can I change sections in another course to allow for my schedule to fit the section of this problematic course so that I can actually get a working schedule. So sometimes there's a little bit of finessing that needs to happen to fit everything into a working schedule. So my advice, try. If you cannot get a working schedule, please let me know as soon as possible so that I can do everything I can to help. Why is a course restricted? I touched on this a little bit already. So there are a few reasons why a course might be restricted. So if there's a program restriction that is a permanent restriction on a course, like your IES courses, for example, the purpose of that is to keep that course just for students in that program. So the other good example, we have a landscape architecture program, and a lot of those courses are restricted so that only BLA students can take them. The IES courses are restricted, so only BIESP students can take them. There are other restrictions. So sometimes there are 1,000 level restrictions, so first year restrictions that are temporary. So in the course selection windows, it's usually upper year students pick first. And then as you get fewer and fewer credits down towards 0, where most of you are at, so windows are gradually opening. If we didn't have restrictions on first year courses, they would fill with upper year students still looking for electives, etc. So we put the first year restriction on there so that the spots in those first year courses are saved for the incoming students that need them to register. So there's a few different reasons for restricted courses. Some courses, they will have a temporary restriction because there are specific majors that need them. Sometimes there are section restrictions. So for example, biochemistry, it's not a course that a lot of students in BIESP would take, but there are only a few sections that work for some students. And so only those sections have restrictions. So again, there's multiple reasons why a course would have restrictions on it, but there is a link that I can share to the restrictions page that Enrollment Services manages, and that lists the restrictions. So if you're struggling to figure out what a restriction is and why, please send me an email. Again, I can share with you the link to the restrictions page so you can really dig in and have a look at why a course that you're trying to take might be restricted.
Thank you, Carrie, for all of the information and for answering all those FAQs. That is the end of the information coming from Carrie. So if you don't mind, I'll take the mic back and just wrap up
Of
the
course.
session. Sounds
Thanks,
good.
Jack.
Thank you. So if you want any more information or would like to view the recording of this session, which you may have already found, you can find it at startufg.ca. That's on the screen there, startufg.ca, or you can send us an email to the Start account, start@uofguelph.ca. And again, if you have any program-specific questions, you can email Carrie at biesp@uofguelph.ca. That, I think, takes us to the end of the session for today. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, you now know who to contact, and we look forward to seeing you during orientation week. Again, all students are welcome during orientation week. The orientation week starts on September 5th, which is the Saturday. So join us for the events, even though your academic orientation day is either on the Tuesday or Wednesday right before classes start. So please come to that for sure, but join us over the weekend for some fun events that happen on campus. Alrighty. Have a good rest of your summer, folks, and we'll see you on campus.